Hello, Malevolence Omega. This is Emperor Palpatine with another Sith Raid tutorial. Today I'll be teaching you guys how to run Revan in the Heroic Sith Raid. Um, let's go over necessary zetas and mod goals. So necessary zetas, you want all three of Revan's. And this isn't just for the raid. If you were just doing the raid, you could get away with General of the Old Republic and Hero, as these give the most stat boosts to the team, but direct focus is insanely helpful as it does prevent Zion from gaining offense up, which can ruin a run. And then you want Grandmaster Yoda's Battle Meditation, as the foresight helps in keeping your Jedi alive, and the turn meter makes sure that Yoda doesn't stay behind for too long. If you use Jolee, you definitely want his that looks pretty bad sated. It will help you go past Enrage if it gets to that point. And then for Hermit Yoda, you want Strength Follows from the Force, the extra protection gain, and the Foresight for Jedi Allies is also very important, as it'll help you survive past Enrage, and maybe you can save Hermit Yoda for another team in the Heroic Sith Raid. And then for Bastila, you don't need any Zetas. Initiative is a leadership, and she is not going to be running in the leadership slot. And then for mod goals, for Revan, you want a combination of speed and offense. For goals, you want about 300 speed. This one's pretty close. And you want roughly 1,000 bonus offense. That bonus offense will go a long way into making sure that Revan is dishing out more and more damage. For Yoda, you want just straight offense. Bonus speed is nice, but you don't need it. You're aiming for close to 2,000 bonus special offense. Once you get to that, Yoda will be dealing 100,000 on his basic frequently. And some critical chance would be nice, but it's not necessary. As long as you have all that offense. For Jolee, you want just straight speed and health. 100 bonus speed is about what you want, and roughly, I'd say 10,000 health is pretty helpful, as it just makes sure that Jolee is going to stick around forever. And then Hermit Yoda, again, you just want straight speed. 100 bonus speed is a good goal. It's not impossible if you use a speed set. In fact, it's relatively easy with a speed set. And then for Bastila, you want a combination of both speed and offense. This Bastila is not modded very well for offense, but at 102 bonus speed, she's excellent there. And then let's get into the strategy for the run. So when this run kicks off, we'll watch a quick little cutscene. When this run kicks off, you want to make sure that you are spreading buffs to Yoda, or to Grandmaster Yoda, because then he can spread it around to the team and just cause havoc. So to kick off, I'm going to use Revan's Master Strategist and give Bastila turn meter. And I'm going to call Yoda to assist with this, which gives him all those buffs, and then I can just spread it to the whole team. And then call Yoda to assist again with Hermit Yoda, make sure that the order you give Grandmaster's training is Yoda, Revan, Bastila, Jolee. Once you do that, it gets real easy to just have a good run. And now that I have all of these buffs, I can just beat on Zion for a long time. Make sure that you're always calling Grandmaster Yoda to assist whenever you can, and make sure that you are keeping everyone's protection well above 0, pretty much. If your protection drops too low, then there's a good chance that that Scion will be able to one-shot Yoda, which will ruin your run, and we don't want that. So Yoda's going to deal a bunch of damage, and then once you get Cycle of Suffering on Yoda, you pretty much never want to cleanse. He'll start dishing out insanely high damage numbers. But you pretty much never want to cleanse Cycle of Suffering and Cycle of Pain. If you do, you actually end up losing a ton of damage because Yoda and Revan just gain so much from these cycles of suffering and pain. So Yoda just dealt 100 damage, 100,000 on basic, 111,000. And it'll be lower because he's not attacking out of turn, but every time he attacks out of turn, he should deal about 100,000 damage. And then spread the buffs, call to assist. And that's basically the whole strategy for the run. You want to make sure that you keep assisting with Yoda. Where things get a little different is past Enrage, where you want to be swapping strategic advantage from Yoda to Jolie and Jolie to Yoda, just to try and keep them alive for a long time. Making sure that you're giving foresight as often as possible, that you're reviving people as often as possible if you have Jolie. But for the most part, you just want to be swinging between Yoda and Revan every turn. Give him turn meter, give Bastila Grandmaster's Training. You want to be watching cooldowns for specifically Hermit Yoda, because if you're really careful, you can make sure that Hermit Yoda escapes the battle, and you can use them in a different team for the same phase, which will go a long way in helping to boost your heroic scores, or into even making sure that your guild can complete the heroic. Now I have Grandmaster's Training on everyone, so the damage is just going to get really high really fast. I've already dealt about 4% or 4 or 5%. So this is looking to be a 10 million damage run, if not better. So once you get these cycles of suffering, Sion's counter chance is going to be very high, especially once he gets his own. So you want to be making sure that you are swapping strategic advantage from between Grandmaster Yoda and Revan, or else they'll die very quickly. Yoda is very squishy. He has less than, I want to say, 50,000 health and protection combined, even at max gear. So it just makes it a little bit harder to make sure they all survive. And you see Revan is actually getting really close to dead, but instead of giving him strategic advantage right away, I want to spread buffs and make sure that he can also deal his damage. But Revan also has a lot of health steal. And that health steal, it helps make sure that Revan is definitely going to survive survive to Enrage. In fact, this entire team should survive to Enrage pretty easily. Wow, just beating up on Jolie there. I wasn't expecting that. But most of the team is able to heal themselves pretty well. Bastila has a decently high health steal. Revan has a decently high health steal. Jolie gains a bunch of health whenever he uses his basic. And then Grandmaster Yoda and Hermit Yoda are the only ones who really don't have self-healing capabilities. So you want to make sure that you're just calling them to assist frequently in order to keep them alive. Spread buffs. And now we're getting to the point where I may have a bit of a tutorial for after Enrage, but we're also getting to the point where I may not, because getting past Enrage is difficult to manage. And a lot of times this strategy is just very strange. But this team is very fast and it's very effective at what it does. Just call with Yoda. You want to make sure that you're killing ads relatively frequently. I wouldn't say it's super necessary because usually you'll just blow them up with one AoE from Revan, or maybe even just an AoE from Yoda. I'm actually going to give buffs. And at this point, since we're so close to Enrage, I want to make sure I'm giving turn meter to Hermit Yoda, so that Hermit Yoda can try and survive the initial blowout. And I want to try and just manage turn meter a little bit, or manage Scion's turn meter a little bit. But it looks like, yeah, I'm probably going to lose Hermit Yoda here because he likes to attack Hermit Yoda whenever he can. No. Okay. Wow, that was very different. So now I'm going to lose Yoda, but I want to make sure that Hermit Yoda goes stealthed. And then direct focus. I know I'm loading him up with a bunch of turn meter right now, but it shouldn't. Yeah, so I can just do this, do that, and then here Scion will get a turn. And then if I did this right, no one is going to die from this, but then probably one or two people are going to die from that, yeah. And then hopefully I can get Scion to just counter Revan here, and I escape with Hermit Yoda to be able to use him in a different part of the run. But that is how you run Revan. Let's see what score I got. So that's about 15 million damage. It is more than goal. With a Revan team, Revan you want about 10%, so that's actually a really solid run. And this is actually to be expected. You can do this pretty easily with a fully geared team, especially if you have all the Zetas correct on them. And you can do this with Ezra. Ezra deals a lot more damage, but the team is a lot more likely to die because of just how Jolie makes them almost impossible to kill. You have more assists and more healing than you would with Ezra. So I personally prefer running Jolie. You can run Ezra for a similar score. It's just a little bit harder to get, and the ceiling is higher on the total damage. But if you are going to run this team, or run Revan into Phase 3, you would want to be running Jolie, as it gives you an extra way to cleanse, or an extra way to keep the team alive or past Enrage or into Isolate and whatnot. So that is how you run Revan. If you have any questions, please send me a message on either Discord or in the comments down below. Thank you very much.